We continue now with our Spotlight series with J. Daniel Pluff. The series highlights businesses and people doing something special in our area. Throughout our Spotlight series, we've introduced you to several Central New Yorkers who have started new local businesses, many of which have seen impressive growth. Skinny Atlas resident Jeff Knauss is yet another. He and a partner established Digital Hive, a digital marketing agency connecting various brands to their targeted audiences. Its growth rate was both awarded and recognized by national publications. The company was acquired for an undisclosed amount. But like so many entrepreneurs, Jeff was then ready for the next big thing. And after that, the next big thing. Our J. Daniel Pluff got some business advice from Jeff, along with his thoughts on the future of Central New York.
Take no offense to this, but folks like you I find difficult for me because, I can't pigeonhole you. It's not like you've been running a company for 20 years. We're going to talk about how it started, how it grew. You've really been all over the place, which is interesting. I think one spot that we should, really hit on first is you co-founded and grew a company called Digital Hive. The growth was phenomenal. You chose to sell Digital Hive. Why?
Well, interestingly enough, from day one of starting the business, we knew that we would not keep the business forever. We had a plan to exit from day one, my partner and I. The reason for that was because, you mentioned at the top that I've done a lot of things.
Yes.
I knew that I have a little bit of entrepreneur ADHD, where I like to look at problems that exist in the world and create something from nothing. My passion really is building companies, starting it, getting it off the ground, and the optimization at a certain point of scale takes a different mind. And once it's out of the craziness of startup life, and I like to get it to a point where there's process infused and it can scale. That's when I think a great operator can take it over there and grow from there.
It strikes me that selling it was not a difficult decision. This was like selling your baby. This was part of the plan, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's right. And I have a belief that it was it was born from the idea of wanting to make it even bigger and better than I could even bring it to. And that's really what selling it was for me.
Next up, and this is where it gets tough for me, because now you go all over, right? I believe you established a restaurant downtown, Exo Taco, downtown Syracuse, partnerships with a couple out in Skinny Atlas, Hidden Fish and Clovers. That's right. Correct?
Yep.
It begs the question, why the restaurant business? The failure rate there is, quite high.
Yes, that's right. Restaurants for me are all about community building. We have a really great opportunity in Central New York with Micron, population growth, business growth, to make a really big impact and create a legacy in this area with growth. And in order to attract really great people, in order to make people want to stay in this area, you have to have great places to go to be entertained. You got to have great places to eat.
And I'm going to come back to that in a second, just that whole idea. I think that's kind of neat. But, in between then and where we are now, another entity called Profound. What was that all about?
So Profound is a mastermind group. And what that means is we bring together 100 business leaders throughout upstate New York to share challenges and opportunities with one another, to do great experiences together, to build these real long and lasting relationships. And the idea was to, entrepreneurship is very lonely. It's very hard when you're on your own trying to, build something. It's difficult. Every single day it's difficult. And to surround yourself with people going through the similar challenges and how to capitalize on opportunities can be a game changer. And so that's really where Profound was born out of.
You just said something a second ago. You mentioned entrepreneurs in general are very lonely people. That strikes me as odd. How come?
I don't know that they are lonely people. The journey of entrepreneurship is lonely.
Gotcha.
And so, while yes, you're surrounded by people, let's say employees, for example, when you're going through the hard times and you're not sure how you're going to make payroll and you lose a bunch of clients, that's on you. It's on you to figure out. Ultimately, being CEO, I heard this recently, is the hardest job, because your job as CEO is to go out and hire the smartest people you can find. And your job, once as the CEO, your job is to say, all right, here's all the challenges we have, and any challenge that you super smart people can't figure out, that's for me to figure out. And so it can be a lonely journey.
Got it. Okay. So now we move, kind of fast forward to today. Another entity called Opin, O-P-I-N. This, on the surface, Jeff, it strikes me as having some similarities to Profound. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Open was built as a community for entrepreneurs, similarly to Profound, where it is a lonely journey. But with Open, the idea was to scale it globally. And so what it is this community for entrepreneurs, but also we have the world's most successful people teaching lessons. So the idea is, everybody that has had any kind of success, at least that I've met, want to share that success with other people.
Yeah.
They want to share their experiences. They want to tell their story. And look, we go out and we'll spend $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 on these video shoots, and we'll tell their story through a documentary style lens. And now they have this legacy piece that they've been able to tell their story that hopefully they can pass on to their grandkids. And at the same time, they're teaching other people all about how to be successful.
So I look at you, you've got entrepreneurial experience, business contacts, sit on several boards. So I can look to you and say, no, there's someone who's probably a good guide or can gauge the Central New York economy. I see a lot happening locally.
Yeah.
I mean, do you share that vibe?
I believe that Central New York is on the precipice of the largest growth and impact journey that we've been on maybe ever. I haven't been around long enough to know ever, but it's certainly in my lifetime and my known history.
With respect, that's a bold statement.
It is, and I believe it fully. One of the challenges that in my lived experience that Central New Yorkers face is we had this manufacturing industry that left, the economy got worse, and so many people were stuck in the past. They're thinking, oh my gosh, all this stuff is left, and they feel burned by that, and I get it, I'm empathetic to it. But the reality is there's so much optimism, there's so much positivity coming our way. And not just with, Micron for sure, the impact that that's gonna make, I think is hard to quantify at this point. But I believe in it, and I believe in the suppliers that will follow them. I believe the economic impact that will follow them, the employees that will follow. It's a very exciting time.
So, and I'm with you, but when you look at what's happening, especially with some local, younger people coming into business, I'm easily impressed, but I'm impressed to see young people starting businesses, doing well right here in Central New York, and it's continuing. The question though is, how do we encourage more people to start a business, get something going?
I think it's more than just starting a business, because young people are so excited to be a part of something positive, exciting, as we were just talking about. And also we have fertile ground with our education systems, our great institutes that are in the area, pumping out really smart people. And all we really need to do is build great businesses to keep them around.
Yeah.
And like I said, build great community, restaurants, entertainment, things to do. If we can do that piece of it along with industry, we're gonna win.
Back to just starting a business though, how do you take what might be a good idea and know that it's a good business idea?
So when you think about starting a business, so much of that is an exciting prospect of like a great idea. But really what it comes down to, the main reason that businesses fail is because they run out of money, right? They don't have enough
capital
money.
Issue,
so it's capital in the way of I think Shark Tank has changed the perception around entrepreneurship some. People think, okay, well now I have this great idea, now I'm gonna go raise money. And I just am someone, that believes that if you can start especially a local regional business, if you can start the business by saving up and maybe asking some friends and family if you have to, I prefer to bootstrap, which means you just start the business on your savings, you get it self-propelling in a way that you go out, you get clients, you get revenue, whatever you need to do to start the business, start small, grow it from there. In my opinion, you have a much better chance of success because you're not relying on continuing the investment, flywheel of going after investment after investment.
Sure. I think that's great advice. But here's kind of a wrap-up question for you. If I said to you, there's no Digital Hive, there's no Profound, there's no Open, there's no restaurants, I'm putting in front of you just a clean slate.
Yeah.
What type of business might you want to start or go into now? What looks interesting to you in the Central New York market?
So the thesis that I've had when starting businesses, especially for the Central New York market, is typically Central New York, in terms of like evolution of business or adapting, new technologies, is a couple years behind. It's not a knock, it's just the truth. And that's a massive advantage. For anyone that's interested in starting a business, the reason that Digital Hive worked so well was that we did digital and social media marketing in a time that in New York City, Boston, LA, the big major markets, there was a digital marketing agency on every corner. For us, it was almost blue ocean territory because there weren't a lot of people doing what we did in the way we did it. And so right now, I would probably be looking at how can you, similar to what I was talking about with digital marketing, how can you take AI, learn enough about it so that you can become the resident expert in this area and then help businesses apply AI to their businesses. I think that would be a massive opportunity.
I may have to come back and talk to you about AI on another interview. But
happy to. Yeah. It is certainly my passion.
I'm sure
right now. Yeah.
Listen, love what you're doing. I think some good advice here today too. So thank you for that, and the continued best wishes to you.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me. Appreciate it.